Yeah. Okay. Um, so I was going to say, part of what is you would think that this was maybe a one and done, but if we're sitting meditation, I can sit up relatively straight in a straightforward way. As soon as we're going to get into the asana practice, into moving our bodies around, it gets a little bit trickier because we get into camera angles and how am I going to fit things into a frame, and it's what would Martin Scorsese do if he was a yogi? All these questions. In any case, welcome. Welcome. Any news from the wilds? Any updates? Anything that anyone would like to share? Anything that anyone would like to ask? I throw it, as always, out to all of you, and then from there we'll get rolling. Before I actually share, sorry, my bad. I should say you are going to, for today's practice, you're going to want to share. I'm just saying that on the off chance that someone didn't see the email update. Any old share probably will do, but sitting on the floor for some of the stuff we're doing, it's not that it would be impossible, it just won't be optimal. And that's okay. But you can see here I have an actual old school card table chair, but only because a cushy chair is a little bit less advantageous than something that's a little bit more firm, and something with a back is a little bit better for our purposes than something without. So if you have the ability to set yourself up seated today while we're connecting with one another, that'd be great. Should say too, welcome Henry. Welcome from me, but welcome from everyone. I think I can speak for everyone on this one. New participants, always welcome. So really glad you're joining us and that you were persistent and patient with me and had a good buddy in Adriana. Thanks, buddy. So just a reminder, cameras on or off is totally your call, okay? The camera's on. It's not like I can on this teeny little screen, even if you happen to be inhabiting one of the little squares that pops up at a given moment, that I can do a whole heck of a lot of, yeah, that's it, Sue, exactly. That I can do, and you saw that I kind of just came through to actually physically read that text message. I also can't read much of the chat, but not just for you, Henry, but it's a good reminder for everyone. If it feels good or interesting, more of that. If it feels, if it feels painful, my advice would be stop, because pain is counterproductive to the practice. And it's certainly, we'll get, that'll happen. Pain happens. It's unavoidable, but it's not something that we're aiming to cultivate, at least not here. So, and certainly I can't offer a whole lot of cues based on what I'm seeing, but I can absolutely and will respond to questions. So if something isn't feeling right and you want, ask away. People often will mute themselves through the practice just so that, we're not maybe hearing oohs and ahs and moaning and groaning, but it's totally, I'm okay with it if you're okay with it, and you can certainly feel free to flick your mic on at any point if you have a question or you have a comment, okay? Sorry, so there's my big, I said I'd get out of the way and then I proceeded to fill up all the airspace, so now I'm anything that anyone would like to throw out to the group before we get rolling? Yeah, it is so good to see you. It's really good to see you. Right on. Cool beans. Okay. No pressure. It's interesting. Was that you, Deb, that said that? So for what it's worth, it's interesting you said, like, where I'm reading in here a little bit, but were you suggesting just a moment ago that because we're sitting in a chair that this would be a nice entry point for someone new to yoga because it would be less difficult perhaps than a mat practice? I'm okay. Good. Okay. Okay. Cool. No. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. Okay. Ah. Well, that's sort of buttering up will get you everywhere. But no, I mean I appreciate that. But I you know what I would also say is that actually where I was going with that was that I think that, and certainly not you Deborah, in the sense of me putting words in your mouth, but I think that if we're talking about share yoga, that people sometimes, from my perspective, unfortunately, inappropriately, incorrectly, unnecessarily, see it as somehow adjunct to real yoga asana, where we would be up on a mat and bouncing around and doing backflips and all, what have you. No, I mean, but more like sun salutations and so on. And I just want to disabuse all of us in a couple of respects. One is, find the practice where you find the practice. It could be lying down, it could be standing up, it could be, somewhere in between, it could be in a chair. On a personal level, I wanted to share that this is as far out of my comfort zone in teaching movement as we can get. Truly. Seated is okay, but normally for me, I'm on the floor on a yoga mat. And so, see, there goes the puppy, Henry. So I'm kind of coming at you here, a little bit less comfortable with myself, which may or may not be good. I mean, I think it'll be interesting anyway. So, should we do this thing? Want to give it a try? All right. Oh, sorry, I should have said that too. I always take requests. What are the requests? Let's hear them all.
Here.
Tight thighs, okay. Whoop, whoop.
Go all the way to your bed, please.
Would it be fair to say that it's quads, hamstrings, or the whole kit and caboodle? Quads. Okay. So we will definitely, I've got some quad action figured, but yeah. That's for you as well, Sue? Okay, so we're gonna stretch the quads out, no doubt about that, now in a few different ways. Okay, any other requests from the group? Oh, sorry, say again, what would be lovely? A neck release, okay, very good. Okay, so neck, quads. Henry, I think I saw you put a hand up. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've got a couple of things that might feel nice. Well, definitely we're going to get into some side bending and a little bit of twisting action, and then working our way in here, which is a nice kind of preparatory stretch that can get into sciatic stuff. I mean, I also we also want to be super clear. Yoga superpowers notwithstanding, this guy is a teacher, not a clinician. So everything I'm offering to the group is just that. It's an offering. And what I would suggest is, for all of you, notice what works, what drops in nicely for you, and what doesn't. And that sometimes that varies day to day. But I say that in particular because, let's use quads as an example, okay? Since that was raised first. For a long time, I felt like if my quads were tight, that the best and only way really to address that would be to do some sort of a stretch, especially a static stretch. So, the kind of classic one here, a runner stretch where you're here and you take your knee back and you try to open up the hip flexors at the front, so you're not like just bending over and avoiding the stretch, but you're here, right? What I have found through practice is that is often not the case. That's great for what it's worth, but that often at least what my body is asking for when it's asking for something is a bit of strength and mobilization to go with that release. So, for instance, if my quads were super tight, what may feel nice is to actually, bring my toes up as close to my face as I can and really not lock out, but really raise my leg and just engage the whole process and then stretch. So anyway, which is to say, be open, be curious, and just see what happens, okay? Any other requests? Right now I've got neck release and quads. Anyone else feeling lucky out there? Oh, and sciatica, thank you. Okay, yes, Sue. Hips, okay, I got some hippiness in there. In fact, we got lots of hips. Cool, good, anything else? I don't know if anyone would. I've been accused of many things. Hip. I don't know if that follows, but let's go with it. I like your thinking. Anything else? Going once, going twice. All right. So let's. Is there anyone that needs more time? Are we good to take a seat? All right. Cool. Okay. So to start off, let's just arrive in or on our chair. And what I'm going to suggest is to actually, again, if you will always know better than me where on a sort of pendulum or spectrum of experience you want to be. So even if I'm kind of pushing the group in one direction, if I'm pushing left and right feels like the right move, go for that, okay? So here's the first example. My suggestion would be to take your back off of the back of the chair, okay? So I'm actually sitting a little bit forward on my seat, and what that is allowing is for my sitting bones, so those bony bits in your bum, to make contact with the seat, and it has the salutary effect, I think, of we can take our shoulders back and out, just open up through the front here a little bit, and we're going to be a lot less likely if you really kind of sit up and feel like with each breath that we're taking in, I'm not even going to cue it to start, but just noticing your own breath. As you inhale, feel like you're getting a little bit taller, like you're growing out of those roots, those bones in the back of your body, hello poo, and reaching them up toward the ceiling on the inhale. Okay, yeah, and arms can be part of that too. I was just pointing, but now I can see everyone's arms going up, and that's cool. Okay, and then as you exhale, allow everything to come down. Allow the chair to accept your weight. Okay, good. Feel your feet on the floor. If your feet are encased in casts, and by casts I mean shoes, even socks, feel free to kick them off, okay? You can spread the toes wide. You can curl the toes, just kind of wake them up, and then just making contact. Knees are roughly over top of your ankles, okay? Hands can come down onto your knees if you wish, or they can come in here, especially if you find that reaching forward pulls you into this kind of desk troll crouch that so many of us are in. That's where you might want to come back here, left hand down, right hand on top, and now we're sitting like a champ, okay? And the last thing here, what I'm going to ask you to do before we move more properly into breathing our way through the practice, just feel the balance in your body. And what might help with this is closing your eyes. Now, anytime we're closing our eyes or we're playing with balance, we want to be very sure that we've got support. So if you at any point feel like you're going to fall or tip over, eyes can open back up, okay? Or you can be reaching for support. If you've got a table or even the back of the chair if you've turned it around. And just notice how your body is carrying its weight. Does it feel like you are sitting more on the left side or on the right? Does it feel like, and so just actually pendulate there for a moment. Just kind of feel, roll yourself over to one side, shift your weight, roll over to the other. Okay? And then come almost like one of those dolls that little kids used to have. They pop, pump, 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 punch the doll and it would pop back up. We want to just pop into center, equally balanced between left and right. Now, to sit up without the support of the back, okay, unless, as I say, you've chosen to support yourself with the back, which is legit. Notice if you're leaning forward. In fact, let's accentuate that. Lean forward over your legs. Okay? Doesn't have to be a super big lean. You don't have to, extend as far as you possibly can, but just a little lean over. And then inhale and lean back. You might even lean so far back that your back touches the back of the chair, your scapula, your shoulder blades. Okay? You can see there's a fair bit of distance there. Find center. Okay? Find balance. And then our breathing technique here is, and again, if you're feeling calm and relaxed as a result of doing this, then awesome, more of it. If you're at any point it is not feeling like it's working to you, physically, emotionally, or whatever, just take a pause, resume your normal breathing, okay? But this is box breathing, which is literally like a box. We're going to inhale and I'm gonna count on 4 beats, but you certainly can feel like if your normal breath pattern is a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, just augment, okay, as you will. So let's go for 10 rounds of box breathing. Box breathing, by the way, is one that is often suggested simply because it is so even and becomes so regular or almost rhythmic. A nice way of calming the nerves, if you've had a stressful day, feeling anxious at all. Okay, so let's just let the air fall out. We're maintaining the balance that we've established in our body. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. We're on the second box. 3, 4. Pause. 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. And inhale and continue. So our third round. Pause. Exhale. Pause. And inhale. And I'm gonna stop the counting, pause, and just cue the actions. Exhale. And pause. So that's halfway. Continue. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Last 3 rounds at your own pace. I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to do nothing. So it's inhale. And let's worry less about the numbers. Just keep that practice of even exhale going. Last round, inhale. Eyes can be closed or open. We're going to stay here just for a moment or two. If the breathing is working for you, you can continue with that. Otherwise, let's expand our awareness out from our breath. There's nothing magic about this. Doesn't matter if you've been practicing yoga for 5 minutes or 50 years. You can just get curious about what is shaking right now. So I'm going to open my eyes up and let the world come in. Become aware of, become aware of what you become aware of. So certainly you may, even if you're not picking up the meaning of the words, you're hearing my voice. If your eyes are open, you're seeing the room, you may be seeing the screen. If your eyes are closed, still lots to see. Shapes and textures and tones. Notice the feeling of the air, the weight of the air, the movement, if there is any of the air, and then the temperature, both outside and inside your body. I'd also get curious about the kind of back channel programming that's still running while all of this is running. Thoughts flicking in and out of consciousness, little tugs of emotion, or even almost like the pre-perception of emotion, like a feeling of pushing away, of resistance. I've had enough of that. Or clinging onto, ooh, that's delish, I want more of that. And I don't want to let it go. Or maybe those moments where you haven't quite woken up yet. You're not actually clear on what's happening at all. And then, boop, you pop back in. All right, I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm sitting. We're connecting together. I'll leave you just for a few breaths there. This can be deeply relaxing, but it can also be challenging not to kind of shut down or shut things out. Just let it all kind of be. Okay. And then eyes, if they're closed, they can open. And let's begin. I'm folding my legs up, by the way, just out of habit. You certainly don't have to do that. What's going on in your lower body right now? Not what we're going to be concerned with. Let's begin with our head. And I'm going to get rid of those for the moment. Okay. First off, hands come together and rub the hands. Just keep a nice even pace of breath in the background. And really like you're starting a fire here. The hands are kindling. And when you really start to feel like you're getting this is a twofer. You're getting some warmth going. You're working the arms. And then when it feels really warm, palms of your hands come to the eyes. Big breath in, and then sigh out through open lips. Can you even take another breath in? Open the mouth wide, let the tongue go. Fingers can even just give a little light massage at the temples. Be saying to yourself, I've been rubbing my temples since way back. I didn't know that was yoga. It's all yoga. All right, if we can experience it, then it counts. All right, from there, let's work a little bit with our jaws and making our way to kind of moseying over to our necks. So let's take our jaw forward so that your lower teeth exceed or go, closer to the camera than your upper. And then take them back. then side to side. So take your jaw in one direction, in one direction, and then the other. Okay, good. I was gonna joke and say, now wiggle your ears and pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. No, okay. So we're just getting things rocking and rolling here. You can also just bring kind of the tips of 2 or 3 fingers here and just a little massage on the jawline. We hold so much tension in the mandibles, in our jaws. So, in any way that feels right. You can see I started with kind of, you know, a pedaled sort of circle there, but then it just felt right to just kind of pull down. All right, good. Well, one last one, almost forgot the forehead. Bringing both sets of fingers to the center of your forehead and then pulling across. Okay. All right, neck. Let's get into our neck. So, first things first, we'll bring our hands behind our head, and what we're absolutely gonna do, in fact, let's accentuate this, or let's get really kind of technical about this. This could be a range of motion issue, so if you can't take your hands behind your head without putting them actually against your skull, then you can ignore what I'm about to say, but assuming that you've got a little bit of range of motion there, see if you can actually bring your hands behind. Here, I'll turn sideways. And you see you're not hugging or like pulling on your head like you've got this bowling ball. Instead, you're taking your hands back a little bit, okay? And with your hands back, then bring your head back into your hands, okay? And feel that, allow that pressure to be there, okay? And then elbows come forward and a gentle bend down. No sudden movements with our cervical spine, with our necks. Breathe here, and you can stay here in this position or come back, and as you come back, open up, okay? Head comes back, that kind of cot of your fingers is supporting your noggin, and then come forward. Arms come in to frame your head. And again, there's no pulling going on, none at all. Instead, the hands are here literally just to give a bit of weight and a bit of guidance, okay? And then open. And then one last time, in and forward and back and out. Okay, we'll let that go. And then from here, let's tip so our body can maintain just a neutral position however you're set up. But chin tips up and exhale. Back of the neck gets long. No lines, no wrinkles on the back of the neck. Up and down. Now this is a really linear pattern. What happens if you take your head up and to the left? For me, I can feel it more on the right lower side. You get a nice little stretch here that I wasn't getting before. Then take it down, kind of like on an X pattern. And there's the opposite. So a couple of passes like that. Inhaling to come up and across, so it's like 10 o'clock over your left eye, and then down and away, 4 o'clock, and then come back into center, and we'll take the head, and the gaze we can just follow our gaze, come up towards 2 o'clock. And then down towards 8 o'clock. Two more of those. Oh yeah. And okay. Last but not least, if this feels nice, but we're gonna go into some head circles. We want to go like if you were going slow before, let's make this like molasses, like so slow. So come down with your chin. And then let's make this less about your neck and more about just your chin in space. Track your chin over to the side and take it up. And take it up to the top. over and through. We're not pushing through any resistance. We'll just do 2 rounds either way. But it's totally normal. Let's switch directions at the bottom to feel some little pops and cracks. And as long as there's no pain there, there's no layer there. Ah, yeah. All right. There we go. How's our neck feeling now? Are we okay out there? That was request number 1. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit more spacious. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's anything else. I do have something, but I think, truthfully, it's got to wait till we're in person because it involves spinal traction. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to pull that off. So hopefully, is that feeling, I'm not sure who had requested that, but how are we feeling? We good? Awesome. Okay. Oh, Nicole. Okay, awesome. Cool. Yes. Go ahead, Sue. Yeah. Yeah. Toes. Oh yeah, no, thank you. That's a good reminder. This is a really nice one, and especially here, I think that the idea, even more than kind of like, I saw a couple of bodies do this. So if you're watching me, there's like this action, and then there's this, which is kind of not like it's a normal, like the body wanting to help, but it's not going to help with the stretch. Instead, what we want to do is take the opposite. Yeah. Toes. Yeah. And that opposite. There you go. Nice. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Awesome. Okay. Let's actually, even before we get into our body, since we're working our way down, let's bring our hands onto the fronts of our shoulders. This is going to actually work our shoulder blades specifically, which tend to get stuck onto the back of our ribs. And that can often, a lot of the pain that we can feel in our neck and head is often referred pain from our upper back. So hands come here, and then we're going to take our elbows together and take them up. Hello, Henry. Sorry, Henry's my dog too, I should mention. Hey, pal. What's up? I know, buddy. Oh, upward facing dog on the yoga teacher. There you go. I love you, friend. You gotta wait, buddy. I'm gonna play with you after. Thank you. Okay, switch directions. If you're Henry, I guess you could should you take a downward dog instead of an upward dog, pal? All right. And these can be again, super slow, or you can kind of speed them up. All right. And there we go. Okay. I dodged the bullet. All right, so let's move into, so often when we're on the mat, we would move at this point into waking the spine up in a cat-cow. What I think would be kind of nice here is to break the cat-cow up into a couple of different motions, okay? So our first motion is going to be in our hips, okay? Now if you take your 2 pointer fingers, okay, and feel at the kind of fronts of your hips, okay, so the lower kind of line of your belly where it comes in towards your pubic bone, there should be 2 sort of points of bone at the front, okay? And that are sort of dialed up straight ahead here, okay, if you're not slumped, okay? Which is, again, not a judgment call. In fact, let's slump. If you slump back, it should feel like those bones have now kind of pointed up toward where the wall meets the ceiling, okay? So that's rolling your pelvis back in space, which will be kind of like our cow. And then if you sit forward and feel like you're going to take those bones and the tips of them are going to almost be placed right on the tops of your thighs. so that if you had a tail, it's like back toward the wall behind you, okay? That's gonna be like, actually this is your cow, the other was your cat, okay? So it's just that rolling your pelvis, and you can certainly hold on to the edges of your chair if that's helpful. So we roll back, we roll forward, we roll back, exhale, we roll forward, inhale, okay? Now you notice I haven't said anything about your head, about your neck. So let's find neutral. In the same way we were bouncing side to side, forward, back. So we're just shifting our pelvis forward and back. So there's half of our cat-cow. Now let's do the other half. The other half is shoulders and head, okay? So what we're gonna do is bring our shoulders in, take our upper back out, spread the shoulder blades, your hands can come forward here, and then hands come back, head rolls back, shoulders open. Cat, cow, okay? So, to put them together, okay, when we roll our belly, let me get discombobulated here. Okay, let's put them together rather than deconstructing it. So what we're gonna do is roll your sternum forward, let the head go back, let the hips tip forward, so your pelvis is gonna tip, arms can go back, and then exhale, pelvis tips back, head tips forward, arms again can come forward, and reverse. And you'll notice I'm not going to cue breath or cue time here, because the right time is the one when your body says it's time to inhale, then find your cow. And when it says it's time to exhale, find your cat. And let's go maybe a couple more there. You can also bring a leg in here, like kind of this is sometimes called dancing cat, where when you come forward, you lift a leg as well. And we'll let that go. Okay. Let's get into our backs a little bit. So we're gonna bend some gentle back bends here. So our first one, we're gonna really come forward on our chair, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna ask you to take your hands behind and interlace the fingers, okay? Notice which way you interlace the fingers. So we tend to all have one way, the way that feels right or feels natural, okay? That's probably where you landed, okay? So hands are behind, roll the shoulders up and back, okay? And then again here, you can look up toward the sky, but bring your hands back toward the chair any amount. So we're stretching out, not just getting a nice little back bend, but we're also stretching out the pecs, the fronts of our shoulders and our chest. And release, and reach forward and turn the hands out this time. And spread your shoulder blades away from your spine. So almost like they're rolling out to the side. Yeah, nice. And then come back. Now here's the trick. When you come back next time, can you interlace your fingers the opposite way? Aha. And open and exhale. And again, opposite way. No, opposite way. Nice. And then we'll come up and inhale all the way up. Feel like you're stretching not just up through the arms and the armpits, but like right down from your hips. And then allow the arms to come down and out. Nice. And now we're going to actually shift back in our chair. Now this is really going to be maximally effective if you've got a chair back, right? And again, you'll find this is one I would suggest if you're at a computer for any amount of time during the day. I actually will set a timer every 20 minutes. This is like part of my on the 20s routine. So hands come back behind your head, okay? Elbows come out, and then we're simply going to use, this is almost like you're going into a bridge pose or a wheel pose, but we're using the support of the chair across our upper back. Oh, Yeah. Okay. Right here. Breathing, breathing. Now, if this is at all pinchy, okay, where your back is contacting the chair, I don't have one handy, but that's where you could put a towel. If like this is metal, you could put a towel or a blanket there. Okay. One more of those. And release. And this time, we're gonna fold forward. So let's take if feet were together, let's take them a little bit wider. Arms rise. And then exhale, fold forward. Now, notice this. Here's what I'm gonna show you here for a second. Okay, here's two ways of folding forward. Neither is better than the other. They're just different. So, round one, we're gonna bend through our back. Global bend. Bend, 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 bend. And again, it's not about getting your feet on or your hands on the floor or making contact with anything. In fact, notice if your bum wants to lift up. Hands can be on your feet, hands can be on your legs, hands can be on your thighs, hands can be on your dog. Hello, friend. Okay? And then come on back up. Thanks, buddy. And hands come down. Okay? Now, the other way we can do this, rather than a kind of a global bend through our back, is to do this would be more classical sort of sun salutation. Okay? So arms come up. And now, you can actually just check this out in my back. What I'm not going to do is roll through my spine. In fact, I'm going to try to keep my spine as neutral as I can, and all the bending is coming from the front of my hips. Now, once you get to about here, okay, you can either just reach forward or then the bend comes in. And come on back up. Okay? So there's your basic setup. So in terms of what building strength and so on, I would say, if just to be clear, and again, I would explore the two ways of bending forward. If you are moving through your vertebra, that's going to mobilize your spine. So if that's what you want some mobility and flexibility in the spine, then that's the way to go. If we want to work with our hips, which I heard earlier, we want to work with our hips, then really and it's about building strength, then we're coming up and we're keeping the back neutral and we're folding over. And then this time when we get far over, sit back a little bit into your seat. And that's going to necessarily bring your hands back. And then try to keep your bum down as much as is possible, and then reach forward through your hands. Aha! Hands turn out, pinkies up, swim. I don't know if I have enough room here. Oh, almost. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, and then you can bring the arms way back. Turn the palms, come forward, and come up. And hands come down. One more of those. Inhale up, turn the hands out. I'm just switching the arms up each time just for kicks. And this time I'm going to go hands free, if you will, or you can actually, I can hold on to, if you've got something to hold on to on the chair, a little bit of support. Okay. And you can allow your head to hang if that's not uncomfortable. I'm going to really widen my feet a little bit and let everything just drop. And this is where it can be nice to do one of a couple of things. If your hands are on the floor, you can actually bring them up and just grab opposite elbows. And then I like to give my head just a little shake. Nothing, no violent actions here, but just about letting it hang loose. Okay? Letting the weight of my arms, I've got a nice little stretch going across my lats, kind of the upper mid back here, so. And then rise, super gentle, arms come up. Exhale, let's keep the right arm up, take the left out to the side, and then take it to the back of the chair, okay? Right hand can come down to the outer part of the left knee, and here's a little twist. So I'm actually using my left hand on the chair, my right hand on the knee to pull me gently into the twist. This is not about cranking your body. It's just about giving a bit of resistance for support. Inhale, right arm comes up, left arm comes up, Right comes down, left comes down. Little twist. Inhale, up, up. Both come down. Sweep them back up. Left down to the back. Right down to the left knee. You might even turn and look over your left shoulder. And then sweep arm up, arm back, arm down to the right knee. So it's left hand to right knee now. Little look. Ooh. Nice little back crack there. Arm up, both arms out, and then hands come in. Last of our salutations. Inhale, come up. Exhale, let's keep the right hand up again. This time, left hand drops down, hip distance, or hip parallel with the hip, and then a little bit further. And you can reach for part of the chair, you might reach for the floor, or you might have like a stool or something, depending, but something to give you a little bit of purchase. I've actually, you can see I've got a table here, so that would work too. And really here, what we're doing, it's not about how far to the side we get. It is about creating a little bit of compaction on the left side, because I'm reaching out to the left, and then creating space right in through our, what are known as our intercostals, the muscles in between our ribs. So I'm allowing, and actually you can see here, I've taken my left elbow into my left thigh, just to give a little bit more resistance to really open up through there. And then come up, both arms go out, sweep up, right comes down, left goes over. And really noticing here to accentuate this, so as we tip over to the right, feel like you're getting heavier in your left foot, in your left hip. Breathe through it. Are you holding your breath in the pose? If so, breathe that pose out. Come on back up. Hands come down. Nice. All right. Notice how you feel. Just move your body around. There's a lot of mobilization of our spine, of our core, of our upper carriage, and a little bit into our hips. Okay. Oh, hips. Speaking of hips. Okay, we'll see how this one goes. This is one that is specific to the chair. I mean, you can do it seated on the mat, but it's not one that I often pull out on the mat, but it's a nice one on the chair. Okay, your hips, and if this helps for you to initially to feel this, you can bring your hands to your hips or to this kind of sides of your, just below your waist, okay, upper legs. Let's keep that stable. Now, if you can keep that stable without the hands being there, you can ultimately let them drop. But what I'm gonna ask you to do is keep everything about your seat exactly as it is. And then we're gonna start leading with our left shoulder and feel like you're taking the ribs, okay? No lift off on the right. The ribs come out as far to the left as they can. It's not necessarily gonna be a huge move. And then come through center and the other way. Ah, yes, there it is. Sorry, I'm reacting to my own body cranking and creaking here. And you can just kind of, a little side to side action. Hips stay solid. And just opening up by taking the body in this little side to side. All right, good. All right, now we're gonna get some more action into the quads later, but let's begin by taking on an inhale, I hear you. On an inhale, bring our right leg up in space. Now, you may notice in doing that, the tendency is to like lean back. I could feel it in my own body, okay? So I'm actually gonna bring the leg down and just readjust, bring my seat right up to the edge of the chair, and watch the tendency to wanna you're into this like super lean, almost like you're skiing or something, instead you wanna whoop, okay? Sit up. So what we're not gonna do is cheat ourselves out of the mobilization of our leg by leaning back and avoiding it, okay? Instead, make the angle of the front of your hips really, really small, really tight, okay? Use your hands for support on your chair if you want. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can do this without booting my dog in the face. Bring your one foot up. And exhale, thank you, poodle, release. And then inhale, other leg comes up. Ay caramba. And release. I'm gonna add here. Right comes up, spread the toes as wide as you can. And release. Left, spread. And release. Right. Notice if you're leaning, so really, if anything, lean towards your toes. And then point. Point towards the camera. Point towards your face. And release. Other side. Up, lean, point, plantar flex, so your best ballerina. And then dorsiflex, that's just bringing the toes back towards your face. And down. And now we're gonna put it all together. Right. Inhale, lean forward, spread the toes, point them forward, point them back, lower the leg. Inhale, up, spread, point forward, point back, lower the leg. Oh my gosh, this is almost too much to countenance, but let's do this together. Both legs, there's a bit of balance, so really support yourself with your hands. Both leg comes up, spread the toes, point, point, lower, up again. There will be some lean here. Point, or spread, point, point, and down. And then if you've got it in you one last time, who said that chair yoga wasn't a workout, it wasn't exercise? Point, point, and release, and whoo! And just give yourself a hand by, my older dog does not like this move, but it feels nice on the legs just to release the quads. Okay, nice. Our wrists, just to continue our passage down. Hands come up, okay? Fingers, palms facing each other, but, you know, 1.5 feet out. And then let's just take our fingers toward one another. And then can you fold your fingers over top of themselves? So the tops of the fingers are folding over the bottoms of the fingers, and then fist. Okay? So there's one round. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now that's actually a fast breath, so let's slow it down a little bit. Inhale. Fingers up, staying on the inhale. Fingers toward one another. Exhale. Tops of fingers. Exhale. Fists. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. There's a lot going on here. Exhale. Last round. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. And then we'll take those fists and move them forward. And this one's for you, Pooh. This is for my dog. Okay, this is begging dog. The full expression of this pose I was taught is that you actually give a little like a begging dog would, but that is completely off. That takes years of practice. You might not feel comfortable today. So if you don't have to do it. If you feel foolish, that's okay. The kind of presence of mind to not feel foolish, you will get there. Okay, here it is. Hands are in our fists. Tip those fists down. Okay, we're gonna go through 5 rounds of this. And then inhale, open those paws up and tip them back. Oh yeah, and then as you come down, curl, 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 come forward, nice, and then come back. There's 2. And then curl, 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 and it would be like that. No, this is not a COVID, he's lost his mind thing, but I may have, but that's not it. Like I said, this is a serious yoga pose, my friends, that a very good friend of mine, a really talented teacher, taught me and taught a lot of people. Shake those hands out. Why that is so good, by the way, while you're shaking them out, is you're getting a twofer, right? You're getting both sides of your forearms, you're getting your wrists, you're getting your hands, and it's, you know, complementary actions kind of pumping back and forth. Lots to love there. The added bonus of, who doesn't like begging like a dog? Okay, from here, let's actually get into, so our seat, and then can you take your feet wide? And initially what we'll do is we'll just take our feet out to the sides of our seats. You can see, again, this is not a race. You're not trying to put your feet on opposite walls or anything, but just getting a little bit wider, okay? And then turn your toes out only so far as is comfortable. Okay, so this is not like, is that plie? Am I getting that right? With Valor, did anyone dance? Like, you know, where you'd be like the, yeah, yes, yes. Okay, so this is our seated goddess pose, okay? Or I guess it'd be god pose. In any case, so we're here, okay? And we're just feeling what we're feeling, which is probably gonna feel like, at least, again, I can only describe what I'm feeling in my body, but a nice stretch through our adductors, that would be our inner thighs, okay? Probably we're feeling those too if we just went on a 12K trek, okay? And then from here, we can inhale and arms come wide and come up and stretch up right from the waist, and exhale, you can come forward. Don't lift that bum too much and come down. Again, come down any amount. It's not a race. And then come up. And then we can cactus our arms down. So hands are up, palms open. Notice the tendency for the knees to want to sweep in and then release. And we can just kind of heel toe our feet back in. And then from here, let's take our right foot. Now, this one you may need to modify because there's a potential mobility issue here. I'm gonna kind of race to the end, and then I'm gonna make suggestions for alternatives. So you can support yourself with your body away from the back of your chair. Hands can be on your seat if you wish, and then lift your right foot up. Okay, in fact, without doing anything else, just try to bring your knee as high as you can get it and hold and breathe. Good. Bring it to the side. Actually, you want to kind of scooch to one side. And then, so I'm scooched to my right side so that my right leg has a little bit of clearance. And then you can reach down either for the front of your shin or maybe for the front of your ankle. And then you've got this seated calf stretch. This is for your ambitious 10, 12K walkers. And what's brilliant about this, you don't need a yoga mat. You don't need a formal practice. This is one that calls out anytime you're seated at a chair or at a desk. Okay, and then come back through. And we're gonna just scooch to the other side. And we'll begin by lifting up. Now notice, you can like lift up and kind of hook your hands on here and just give yourself a little kind of release through the back of the leg. That's totally cool. But this is gonna build strength, hands free. Okay, how high can that knee get? All right, and then sweep the leg back, reach, bend. And again here, you'll see I'm taking my right hand to the front of the chair just to give myself a bit of support as I bring my leg back, as I take my shoulder back. Okay, now we'll release. So what have we done with our hip? We've flexed it, we've extended it, and now we're gonna center ourselves in the chair. Lift the right leg, okay? Feel free to lean back if this is gonna aid the movement, but can you bring your right ankle across so that the outer bone, that kind of bony ridge on either side of your ankle, it's actually clear. It's on the other side of the knee. Now, if you're at the point you're like, no, I cannot do that, that's okay. So then what you may want to do is just drop it partway down the leg, okay? And you can feel like you're pressing the front of your left shin into the back of your right heel and vice versa. You can even just cross, not just, but you can cross the heel and the ankle down low, okay? Or if you've got like a stool or something, you might be part way up with your foot there, okay? But this is pigeon prep. So if you're feeling sciatica stuff, this is your happy place, at least potentially, okay? Breathing here, okay? No floppy feet, so toes are pointing toward the camera. Proud stance. And then what we're going to try to do is take this knee, this right knee, and work it down and forward. Okay. Good. And now here's where things get really silly. So you could stay here for a long time, okay? You can bend over here. This will deepen it, by the way, so go slow. If you bend over the leg, you're gonna get a really, a much deeper sensation. I shouldn't call it a release because it may not feel relaxing, depending on how deep it is. You can see I'm actually cupping my leg, okay? All right, and then come in. And now we get into the trickier movements. So here's the challenge. Can you do this? And really now this time we're going to try to lean forward. Use your hands for support on the chair. Can you lift your right ankle off of your left knee? Without this, okay? Like I recognize that this is a thing, but can you do, trying to keep the knee forward, can you lift the leg up? And then take it off. Float the foot, but don't put it down. Take the foot, keep the knee in line with the other knee. Take the right foot out to the side. Lead with the heel. Ooh. Hello, outer hip. Okay, and then if you move the left foot out of the way, you can kind of just sweep. Okay, most of us are going to have a lot less movement in the opposite direction because we tend to have more range of motion externally rotating than internally rotating, which is why the internal is so important. Okay, opposite side. Let's inhale. Oh, you felt that one, yeah? Okay, very good. So we're gonna inhale and lift the left foot up. Okay, and again, totally okay to bring your hands in here and you know, they can join the party. I also think it's really interesting to see what the muscle groups were asking to do something. See, I had to adjust. What they can do without the assist. But again, it's just about getting to wherever feels right. And then from here, okay, you'll notice here, I can even like put a little bit of weight, not right on the side of my knee, because knees don't like that, but on the inner thigh, okay, just above the knee. I can drop my forearm there, okay, toes pointed forward. And the reason I say pose, that's not an aesthetic thing. What that's gonna do is set your ankle, which is gonna make it a lot less likely that you're gonna tweak your knee. And breathing here, okay? Working that left knee forward and down. And then with your hands there on the chair for support, take your leg. I almost forgot. We have to try to take the heel up. And down, and leg comes down, foot floats, sweep the leg out. So almost like you're, totally natural to feel a little spasm there. So take a break if that happens, if you cramp up. And then you can move the one leg out of the way, and it's just back, forth, and let it go. Okay, we're right to the end, my friends. Before we do that, this may strike you as a little bit of standing, but in fact, I was gonna go kind of more full standing stuff, but let's save that for another day. But since there was the request for lunges, here's where, do I have it handy? I don't think I do. I actually have and I think I gave some of you squares of an old yoga mat I had cut up. This is where if you don't have carpet or something, you may want to pad your knee. What I'm gonna actually suggest is move your chair, okay? And you can use the seat of your chair or you can use the top of your chair for a little lunge, okay? And I'm actually sliding mine forward, okay? Square the hips off, okay? Hands come onto the chair, yeah. Okay, so I've got my right knee on the floor, my left foot underneath my left knee, okay, and we're here in a little lunge. And if that's sore on your knee at all, just come up a little bit, high lunge, okay, and then we'll switch. Oh, my. gonna get moved from here into a back opener and then a sort of modified downward dog. So since we're down at this level, I'm gonna turn to the side just so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. What I'm actually gonna do is bring my elbows onto the seat of the chair. And hands can come together, head drops any amount. And then gently come up. Hands come onto the back of the chair. You may want to step up. And then take your bum, your tail away from the tips of your fingers. Take the tips of your fingers away from your tail. This is a half downward dog. Breathe here for a few breaths. My. Okay. And we're there. Now, where are we at here? Done all of that. Oh, I feel like core is not happening at this point. I'm feeling warm. Is anyone else out there feeling like they haven't gotten enough movement? Because I can certainly throw a core your way, but I'm thinking that in the standing, but we can do this next time. How about we do, actually, here's one. Here's what we could do. We'll do a couple, and again, these are just to play with. So this might be accessible today, it might not. That's okay, okay? What I'm gonna ask you to do is come very, very far, as far forward as you can be on the chair without actually coming off the chair, okay? And then we can begin with hands on the chair, okay? And bring one foot up and bring it down. Inhale, bring the other foot up and allowing, to come down. Now bring both knees together. You lift both legs up. Gently and down. So if you're feeling it that intensely, back off to 1 and 1. Oh, geez, I heard that. Okay. Now we're here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lean intentionally. Okay. Not so much to make contact. So my back is not on the chair, but you can notice that my toes have floated away. And then you might float the legs either partially up or fully up. We've got chair boat. Boat in a chair. Deck chair. Ha! And release. Okay. And last but not least, and just because I love strength work, I love it. I never lift weights, but I love bringing strength into my body when we're moving, so let's share that. So what I'm gonna actually suggest here is, let's do this in a graduated way. Okay, this is moving toward a pose in yoga called Tolasana, which would be like where you put your hands on the mat and lift your body up, or sometimes your hands onto blocks and lift your body up. We're gonna go super graduated at this. So the first thing is, put your hands on the chair, and without any action from your legs, try to lift up. Just bring your bum out of your seat for a little bit. Nope, and that's okay. If it's a no, then it's a no. If it's a no, lift the legs up. Okay? And so you can pendulate there. And in fact, what you could try to do, if that was a straight no on the first time, drop your weight into your left side, okay, into your left hip, and then try to lift just the right leg up using your hands. And down. Okay? And ultimately what you would be moving toward, and this is with hands on the sides of the chair, is that. Whew. That's okay. That's what, for a long time I couldn't do that. That's okay. It's all just playing, right? See what's there. Okay, and then let's allow things to just slow back down. Okay, we had a lot of sort of vigorous action there. Okay, so if you've lost your breath, reconnect. And let's end in a relaxed pose. So I'm gonna just suggest different stopping points, and I'm gonna move around, and you can, when you get the one where you go, aha, this is nice, then that's the right place. Okay, option 1, straight sitting, and this time with back against the chair if you wish. And just relaxing and grounding to end the practice that way. Okay, option 2, feet come a little bit wider, sitting forward in our hips, and then with that neutral spine, coming down, down, down till you're forward, and then allowing things to bend. Third and final option, and this is my personal favorite if you've got the chair, is to actually come down onto the floor. I don't have a ton of room here, so I'm just going to do this on an angle. And the move here is to lie on the floor, legs come up onto the chair, arms come out, and any of those spots or any other physical position that's calling out to you that will allow you to let go of the practice and integrate it. So you're not thinking your way through anything, you're not doing anything exactly, kind of just getting out of the way. Let go of any control of the breath. Let that sort of normal breath flow be there. Let the body do its thing. Let it relax. Let the mind do its thing. Let it relax. Okay, if you are on your back, you might want to bring your legs off of the chair and just come to lay on one side. And then push up, and we'll come back to our chair. If you were folded forward, samesies. Allow yourself to slowly come back. Be very careful that we're not moving so quickly that we get lightheaded. All right. And notice how you feel. Close your eyes too if that helps. Just notice what's shaking, what's going on right now. Maybe we've expended some energy, hopefully in a good way. Created a bit of space in our body. Let's take one arm and wrap it around one side, like the opposite shoulder. Take the other, wrap it the other way. Oh my, we're giving ourselves a hug. It's almost as if, in a really ham-handed way, the person leading the yoga class was trying to say something metaphorically about you being worth it. Thanking yourself. Hands can come together. Thanking everyone else too, because this doesn't happen just, it could, but it didn't. We're all here together in community. So I'm sending it out, shooting like all the thanks to all of you for joining in the practice, for in very many ways helping me guide the practice. I hope that you feel peace inside. I hope that you share the peace outside. Peace out. Thank you. Namaste. However you say it or do it, that's a wrap. Namaste. Wonderful. Well, I was going to say in a couple of weeks, we'll do share round 2, where I'll bring in some of the other stuff that we didn't get to today. All right? Awesome. Oh, well, and Oh, good. But you know what, Sue? I'm gonna actually make a little plug for, just in case you or others don't know about it. Not that I appreciate the props. I thank you, and I absolutely will post this, and it'll be up. Should be up later tonight. Um, and it's not in the Mindful Mondays playlist that's on my YouTube channel, or I should say our YouTube channel. But if I say our, because my partner Krista, who is my partner and my co-teacher, we have posted up there a chair sequence that she led. It was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and she teaches in shelters, and she wanted to share that with the people she was no longer able to see. But it is there, and it's wunderbar. So it's what I'll do is I'll actually pop the direct link to that video in the update for next week, so that people can access it. But you should be able to find it on our site if you're looking. Alrighty? You're welcome. Peace out, friends. You got it. I got a very patient cockapoo here that I'm going to go take to the park now. Thanks, you too. So good to be with you all. Bye-bye. Okay, Henry the dog.